I hope it helps you to understand that you are not the only one going through this. And I'll give you an example now. This is a really sad example, but I'm going to just tell you just how bad it is. There is a teacher there who ties her students up if they're out of their seats or acting. I mean, this little 9-year-old boy, a little 9-year-old boy, the teacher ties him up. And you know what she tells him? When you calm down and act like an adult, I'll untie you.
To expect a 9-year-old to act like an adult.
And all of them, from President Obama to Arnie Duncan to new chairman of education, John Kline, all saying we have to end the bullying problem, and they are totally ignoring what teachers are doing to school children such as yourself. I'm really sorry that happened to you, but I want you to know there are several organizations working really, really hard right now to have people know that teachers are behaving like this, and we want to bring this to an end and have laws that protect you. See, right now, the reason your mom is having such a hard time protecting you is because there are no laws against this. Just because you're a child. Yeah. Just because you're a child. If somebody did exactly, you know, pushed on your mom the way your teacher handled you, your mom could have called the police on them. But because you are a school-age child, you can't call the police. Now, as a matter of fact, if your mom abused you at home in a certain way, the same way your teacher could do in school, they could put your mom in jail. But the teacher, honestly, there are teachers who have done worse. I mean, we're talking fatal injuries and don't even go to jail in this country. So it's really sad, and I'm really sorry you were a victim of it, but I want you to know that it's going to come to an end. And we're working really, really hard to do that. So does that help a little bit for you to know that?
Yeah.
Good, good, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Well, one of my teachers just comes out of the door and she just pushes me, like, she just pushes me and I fall back and I stumble backwards. And then she asked me where I'm supposed to be, and I told her I was supposed to be inside. And then she pushed me again, and I told her not to put her hands on me. And she said teachers have the right to do that all they want. I said, okay, then just don't put your hands on me anymore. And then I went back inside and I told my friend what was happening, what had happened. And one of the teachers, one of the bus driver ladies came over, and she told me I was supposed to be talking about that. And then I told her I could tell them, and then she told me to stand up. And then she grabbed me, like, right here.
On your skin or on your shirt?
Like right here.
Oh, your flesh. She grabbed you right on your shoulder blade.
And she told me, I told her, get your hands off of me, and then I slapped her hand down. And then she kept, like, she would, like, do this, like, and so she kept doing that, and I just keep slapping her hand away. And,
was she talking to you? Yeah.
And she just kept telling me, teachers have the right to put their hands on me, and I just kept telling her, don't put your hands on me.
And when so now we're talking about the school bus driver. Now this is Miss Borden, I believe. Okay, so when she has her hands going back and forth on you, what is her facial expression to you?
She looked angry, like really serious.
Okay. And when you told her to stop, she just continued to repeat that teachers could put their hands on you if they want.
Yes, and then she told me, right whenever I was about to sit down, she told me that she could go to my classroom, grab me by my arm, and drag me down the hallways if she felt like it.
Wow. Oh, my God. And, you know, this is going on. Teachers are grabbing kids and dragging them down the hall. And we live in a country where this is what you call lawless behavior, because there's no law against it. So when I campaign, I'm telling people our goal is to ban sanctioned, which means the law says you can do it, and lawless, which means there's no law against it. Meaning if a teacher dragged you down the hall and your mom came and said, she dragged my son down the hall, they would be able to say, well, there's no law against it.
Yeah.
And if she hit you, the school would be able to show the school policy and say, well, right here it says she can hit you. That means sanctioned. You see the difference? And so children are not covered either way. There's either law saying you can abuse them, and then the other forms of abuse, they say, well, there's no law against it. And so your teacher is telling you the truth when she says that, which is a scary thing because they're protected by our U.S. government. You understand? That means that you have no protection, which makes you like a slave. Slaves in the South, you know, wherever there was slavery in the U.S., there was no law protecting them, and the slave owners did whatever they wanted to their property. So when you go to school, the U.S. Constitution disappears and you become property.
And that second time, she pushed me, and I hit my back against a brick wall that's outside.
So she pushed you hard enough even the second time. Although she had already almost made you fall, that wasn't enough for her. She pushed you hard enough for you to hit your back against the wall? Okay.
So at this point, they had kind of switched directions.
Right.
And he was now against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Where, I guess, as she came out of the door, pushed him, then he was towards the wall of the building. And then, so he was not in her way any longer.
Right.
Yet she came at him again. Her hands was, you know, like taunting him. You know, like, I can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
My daughter was coming down the hall, and she kind of noticed it, kind of, you know, stood back a minute just to kind of see what was happening. And then as she was kind of looking, she saw that her brother was, you know, upset.
Yeah.
It was no longer a, you know, just, it was more of a force, you know, like almost yelling, like, leave me alone.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, that she felt the need to have to get up and yell across the hall to the bus driver, Miss Borden, to stop hurting her brother.
Right.
Now, whether she heard it or not, I don't know. That's on her. She's the only one that can say that. And, you know, for my daughter to have to feel that a teacher that's left there to care for you, to, you know, do this to her brother. You know, I don't know if they would have said anything if it happened to anyone else, but I've always told them, you know, they can't do this. You know, you tell someone.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, she was kind of scared and kind of, you know, like jittery when she came home because they just couldn't believe what had just happened.
Exactly.
You know, so, I mean, it went as far as even, you know, his sister having to speak up yet louder, you know, as if what he was already saying wasn't, you know, like loud enough for her to just stop.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
She continued.
Right. You know, that's, and just imagine what that, again, your daughter feeling helpless. Now, this is your, the same girl that experienced with the other girl who's, so your daughter is basically going to school and watching American Educator bullies at work.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
and it's bullying, even just, not even physical, it's even just the way that they speak to these children, you know? It's the things she comes home and tells me that they're saying to her or saying to other children in her classroom.
Yes.
You just wouldn't expect coming from an educator.
An educator, exactly. And you know, what subject did the teacher that pushed you and almost made you fall, what subject does she teach?
Reading.
Reading. So does that mean she also teaches English skills? So we have an English teacher, okay, a person who's certified to teach English, who chose to push rather than even use what she is supposed to be skilled at, using the English language. Once the bus driver finished having her little fun and bullying you, and she walked away, did you see her again after that?
Well, she hadn't just walked away at that moment. She had taken me to an office, into a classroom that's by the door, and I had sat in this man's classroom. I don't know his name, and she told me that I was acting up, and then she had told him that I said teachers have no right to put their hands on me, and he just laughed.
Yeah.
So the whole school is just a bunch of abusers.
I got really mad, so I didn't want to stay in the classroom. So I left the classroom when the teacher turned back to the computer to go tell the principal. And on my way, I got stopped by another teacher, one of my favorite teachers. So she told me to go wash my face off in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, and then when I came back out, Miss Borden and one of my other teachers, my health teacher, Miss Mars, kept telling me that teachers did have the right to put their hands on me, and I just kept saying, well, just don't do it ever again.
Mm-hmm. Since that day, how have you been treated in school by these different teachers? What's happened since then?
Some teachers, one of my teachers requested that I not be in her class anymore. Also, language arts teacher.
Why did she request that you not be in her class? Why was that?
I don't know. She didn't tell us why. She just requested that I not be in her class anymore.
Okay, so now during that time, where were you? I mean, what did they do with you since you couldn't go to your class?
I had to sit in the office for that period every day, and my teacher the principal would just give me a paper and then leave me in there just to do it. She wouldn't tell me what to do or how to do it. She just had me the paper.
The principal? Wow, so the principal is incompetent too. She's just as, so, you know, from the top down, we have a school that needs to be revamped, restructured. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. How many days, when the teacher said she didn't want you in her class, how many days did you have to end up in the office?
Like a couple weeks. Yeah,
so this went on for a few weeks. This little hands you a paper, you don't even, no meaning to it, just here, you have paper in your hand, I've done my job.
Yeah, I failed that class before I went over to my new school.
You failed that class? Mm-hmm. Of course, because you weren't present. How long were you in that school? Did you end up leaving behind some friends? You know, tell us about that. So you ended up leaving behind a bunch of friends. And how long were you friends with these other students?
3 or 2 years. Yeah.
So you bonded with friends for about 2 or 3 years, and because of American educator bullying, you, a young adolescent in an American school, had to leave them all behind just to avoid a hostile school environment.
Yeah, I fought and I fought to get him back in an English classroom. The principal just kept telling me that due to the level 3 grievance that I had filed against the English teacher, that the other English teacher didn't want him in her class. She was scared that he was going to falsely accuse him, accuse her of putting her hands on him.
So he becomes the guilty party. Yeah. He becomes the criminal, in a sense. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
He's the criminal. Now, are you in the new school now? That's where you are now. Okay, how has that been for you?
I actually like it more there. The teacher's very respectful there. I have 7 new favorite teachers.
Oh, good, good, good. So it was a good move for you to get away from there. And you know what? I'm very happy to hear that, Israel, because like I said, I am a school teacher, and I like people to know that we are not all like that. Yeah. You know, I would say on the average, most teachers are professional, kind, and competent. And the ones who, it's just like, again, if I use the police force as an example, you have your really professional police officers who are really there to serve the public, and then you have police officers who are trying to get even from when they were children and were abused, and now they get to take it out on the public. True. And so that's out there, and I'm so happy that you have 7 teachers, and I'm sure you're making new friends, although that does not take away from the fact that they, because of their lack of professionalism, that you ended up losing, you know, connections with friends that you had for 2-3 years, and that to me is a form of abuse also. You know, now, with your understanding now that this is where our school society, so to speak, is for our American school children, How does that make you feel? I mean, I know you expressed a little in the beginning, but I think you have a deeper understanding now. What's that make you feel like about who you are as an American school child?
Well, just to know that I have a lower, I mean less than an animal.
Yes.
Would say to me that this really does need to be stopped.
Yeah.
Just to know that we're as lowly as an animal.
You're not, no. You're lower than an animal.
Lower than an animal.
Let me tell you something, son. If you had a dog and you took your dog to school and the teacher beat the dog, the teacher would go to jail. If the teacher beat you, she could laugh and say, "Get out of here now. I don't really want to see your face." So your dog has more rights than you. How's that make you feel, Mr. American school child?
I don't know. It's just
Shocking?
Unbelievable.
This is America.
Yeah.
This is our U.S. school system. Your dog has more rights than you. Your teacher, if your teacher tried to even push your dog and hit your dog up against the wall, she could be arrested. If she did everything you described to me, to your dog, she would have been arrested. But with you, you get yanked from your friends that you've had for 2-3 years. You get pushed out of another language arts class because you might make that teacher feel like you're going to say some lie about her, which none of it was a lie. You end up going to a principal or who's going to hand you a piece of paper and act like he did something to earn his pay that day. And your daughter, Elizabeth, his sister, has to watch and feel helpless.
The school that they were in, Wheat Middle School, it's kind of like that was the poor school.
Yeah.
Smith is the rich side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's,
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of looked like being at Wheat, you're kind of treated even more less of a person because you are of low income than if you were to attend, say, Smith Middle School, where their community there is more, it's the rich side. That's how we, kind of hear. That's the rich side. This is the poor school. That's how it's viewed here.
Right.
To be viewed that way, in this community where it shouldn't even be like that. It should just be this school, that school,
Yeah. Exactly.
Equal.
Mm-hmm.
You're not less of a school or of a person because you have less money.
Yes. Yes.
And they were treated a lot worse than, say, going to Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Smith, you're kind of treated with more respect, a little bit more of a person,
Mm-hmm.
than you were at Wheat. Wheat was really bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
And that's how what you're saying is typical of our, I don't know if you've heard me say repeatedly, the primary targets are poor children. This is how America treats its children whose families have lower income than our presidents or our chairman of education, Department of Education, or our state secretary of education's children or grandchildren or cousins, family, friends. This is how you are treated because you don't have enough money to be treated with respect in America.
You don't have say your dad is on the school board. Mm-hmm. Or your dad is, a lawyer in town or something big in town. You don't got no one behind you if you do not have anybody with power behind you in this. What I've lived here for 15 years, what I've noticed, what I've seen. If you do not have someone with power or you are someone with power, nothing is going to be done.
Right. Yeah.
If you don't have connections, you're just you're just a nobody, you're pushed aside.
Right.
You know, that's exactly how I've felt since I've moved here.
Now let's take a look at Mr. Israel. Israel, you fit that primary target. Your family sounds like low income, okay? Your skin is brown. And you have a Latino background and Native American Indian. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're Native American, you're Latino, you're brown, you're poor, and so you qualify for being abused and bullied by American educators. How does that feel?